Mondays to Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom. You can't afford to miss it.
The national leader of All Progressive Congress of the party's presidential primary. He obtained over 1,271 votes to defeat his closest rival, ex-minister Rotimi Amaechi and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. That will be our focus on today's edition of this program in the newsroom. Unusually, we are taking a look at a single topic today. My name is Abdul Olale. You are welcome once again. And with me in the studio, I have Adewale Adeoye. You are welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Do you say congratulations to the winner?
Well, we have to say congratulations. Yes, congratulations to Asiwaju for winning the primary. Regardless of what I might have felt before, he is now the winner.
Okay, we come into what you felt before. We are still awaiting our other colleagues. We hope they will join us soonest in the course of this program. And not to keep you waiting over there, we felt we should just commence the program. Now, were you expecting the primary to end the way it had turned out to?
It was a mixed expectation, mixed feeling, or mixed bag for me. Knowing how popular Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is, knowing how powerful he is, knowing how wealthy he is, I expected that he would wield his influence. I also was expecting that in spite of all the odds that some people will favor the vice president. So that's what I said, it was a mixed expectation for me. And now that it has ended this way, I have to congratulate Asiwaju.
Okay, let's look at the scores. 1,271.
Yeah, out of 2,000.
And even if the other contest, the aspirants' votes are added together,
yes,
they are not. It is not still up to. Were you surprised also about the margin?
Yeah, but he scored 1,000 what?
271.
271. Amaechi scored something.
316.
316.
Yes.
For Amaechi.
Amaechi and Osinbajo 235.
235. Okay, so if you combine them, it's still less than what he got, which means the popular opinion was in favor of Tinubu, and the effort by all the others didn't bring in much for them.
Okay, you must have watched the primary. It started last night.
Yes, I did.
How would you describe the exercise so far?
Well, it was the usual way, let me say. That is the Nigerian way. That is the way everything is carried out here. They started out and it took a long time. Delegates were coming in, but it took a long time for the aspirants to get to the microphone, for each one of them to speak, and 23 of them had to speak, even though 5 or so stepped down, and but the ones who spoke, it's taking turns will take some time. So I watched it until I dozed off, and I woke up in the middle of early morning also to continue watching. It was too long. All these, I said it about 3 weeks ago, right on this show, that this kind of primary is what should have been carried out from August, November, December last year. This kind of the primary, the person should have emerged or been known a long time ago.
Is it not even better now?
Well, it's better than it's
now. It was just on 3-4 months interval.
Well, 5 months to election. It is okay. It's okay. We accept it. We still have plenty of time, but there's plenty of time now for Asiwaju to implement, or rather to organize and get his team together. He has been doing it, of course, but now to formally get his team working and get everything in order, and then to begin to look at the opposition, to look at the other side, what he's facing or what's facing him. And he has a very tough battle ahead. He has a very tough battle ahead of him, because no matter how much... okay.
We'll still come to challenges ahead. Of course, there will be challenges.
Of course, yes.
There are challenges. Now, let's look at the body language of Mr. President. Initially, he said he should be allowed to pick his successor.
Yes.
And later, he also said they should all go to the court. So what do you think will have influenced what he said?
Well, you remember the speech by Asiwaju in Abeokuta last week, and that speech echoed and reverberated all week long. Garba Shehu responded to it, and it was published, or rather it was said that the president responded himself. So all of this, the body language of the president is something, and we see that he himself was not decided. He was not decided.
Oh, it was undecided.
He was undecided, yeah, if I say it like that. But what I wanted to say was he was not decisive. Okay. Undecided, yes, but he wasn't decisive which way he wanted to go. He wanted to play it like an emperor, like I've been saying for the past 3 weeks. He wanted to do it like an emperor, quietly and authoritatively suggest. And we read that he suggested his choice, and then some names were submitted to him, and all that we were reading, 5 names were submitted to him. And then the effort by the chairman of the party, Mohammed, the APC chairman, to get a consensus. But that effort failed because governors of the APC, some of them opposed the idea of consensus. Some of the aspirants also opposed the idea of a consensus. And even Ashiwaju's team laid down some conditions for consensus. So everything the president tried to do behind the scene or wield his influence didn't actually pan out, because the overwhelming number of aspirants, 23, didn't allow for any kind of manipulation by the president or by the chairman of the party. And so the will of the people, and at the end the president said, let all the aspirants go and test their popularity at the poll, in this case, the delegates.
Will it be right or correct to say that Mr. President did not in any way influence the outcome of that primary?
You see, I laugh because we cannot say that. He wielded his influence in one way or the other, but it was all done behind the scene, and it was done sometimes subliminally, that it didn't look obvious that he was trying to influence anything, but by his speech and what he has said in the past was that the governor should select the best person. And of course, speculation was that he was trying to root for Lawan, the Senate president. Speculation was that he was trying to root for somebody else. But in the end, it didn't look like he was doing something, but he was actually doing a lot behind the scenes. It's like a duck on water. Looks calm, but underwater, there's a lot of activity going on.
Will it also be right to conclude that when Mr. President said he should be allowed to pick his successor, he had Bola Ahmed Tinubu in mind?
I don't believe he had Bola Ahmed Tinubu in mind. But when he said he should be allowed to pick his successor, speculation was that he must have had either Lawan or Osinbajo in mind. That was the speculation, but I don't believe it was Bola Ahmed Tinubu he had in mind. Because if it was Bola Tinubu all along, then you would have been seeing him, you would have been seeing Mr. President and Mr. Tinubu together in public appearances here and there. but there was very little public appearance bringing both of them together. So I don't believe that it was Bola Ahmed Tinubu he had in mind.
Then could it also be right to say that Bola Ahmed Tinubu bamboozled his way to become the flag bearer of the country?
Well, that would be a very accurate assessment of how he got there, because there has been effort by him and his team and his foot soldiers to get to delegates, to get to governors, to get to those who will decide this thing. And we don't know whether there was money involved, but we can safely assume that there was a lot of money involved. It was said that he promised the chairman this and that, so many millions of naira. In fact, it was said that governors who support him will get 1 billion naira. So there was that attempt to influence this poll right from the beginning. And we were told that he promised, or maybe gave, but he promised each delegate $25,000. $25,000, that's a lot of naira. And if each delegate got $25,000, they got something from somebody else. And I read just before coming that Amechi gave them 15,000. The vice president offered them 5,000. So if they all got all of that, then Ashiwaju gave the most money, $25,000. That's a lot of millions of naira. At least he will build a house for somebody.
$50,000?
$25,000.
From allegedly from Tinubu.
Allegedly from Tinubu, yes.
Okay, let me try and do a lot more calculation. But there was an exchange rate, 600. That's about 15 million naira. 15 million
naira will build a modest house for a civil servant or for a middle class person. Don't you think?
But we learned that in the past. I know in some days to come, so many things will be revealed.
Yes.
About this primary. Like what happened in the case of PDP, when one man took a huge cash and decided to donate to orphanages and
what he received.
What he received from and so many people have said they made millions from the PDP primary. So we're also expecting similar things.
You can assume that they made more millions from the APC, especially from Ashiwaju.
Now, is it then possible for an individual to collect from all the aspirants?
It's the aspirants who will approach them. The aspirants will approach the delegates, as many of them as they can
aspirants
identify.
will approach a particular delegate.
Yes.
That same delegate
would be approached by
aspirant B, C, D, and you collect. Then I know they know with about $50 million.
Can go home with $50,000.
So 50,000, sorry.
Yes, it's possible, because it is the aspirant
and that's about 30 million naira.
Exactly. So it's the aspirant who needs the support of the delegates. It's the aspirant who will approach them.
Can't we have a primary that money, cash, dollar will not exchange hands?
We ought to have that kind of primary. We should have that kind of primary, but we do not have law enforcement, because there are laws in the books against trying to influence election one way or the other, especially with money. But those statutes or laws or acts are not being enforced. They are not being applied. It's only last minute yesterday that we read or we saw the ticker tape on TV that EFCC operatives went to the convention site. To do what?
They were in PDP convention.
They were in PDP convention, but they got to this one only about 6 p.m. last night, when it was being rumored that money was exchanging hands. And then when they got there, did you see them visible on TV? Now we're looking at a picture on screen where you see them. But did they approach anybody? Did they find any delegates and search them whether they received money? It was a move too little, too late. This kind of primary, like I keep saying, I said it 2 or 3 weeks ago, should have been held long time ago. And then the results of each each locality or each constituency will be brought to the convention. And the people will rise up and say, the state of Osun or Osun State, these are the number of votes, and we go for so and so. That's the way it should be. But the way it's been done here is it's like the jungle kind of thing. I just don't.
Okay, you said the outcome of that primary, you had a mixed feelings.
Yes.
Now let's look at and you mentioned the vice president.
Yeah.
That you are thinking that he could have been the favorite.
Yeah.
Of Mr. President. So why do you think he lost out?
Well, he was treated like a young boy by the elders and the elites. And then you see, even when they had the meeting in Lagos at Lagos House, all the APC aspirants, if you remember some of the pictures, see the vice president, I'm sorry. The vice president walked into the hall. Some greeted him. Akeredolu greeted him well, but Fayemi did not. From the video that we saw from that meeting at Lagos House.
Fayemi or Osubago?
Fayemi did not greet vice president well enough.
Okay.
It was just a quick
handshake.
Yeah. So the system has been working. They've been working the system against the vice president all along, and because he, being a freshman, a newcomer into this big time politics, and then some people claiming that they were the ones who made him, and people criticizing him and calling him a traitor and all of these things. So it has a tendency to have influenced the delegates, and for some of them to have a mixed feeling, should I or should I not? And then when $25,000 got into your hand, then you already know where you're going to vote, who you're going to support. So in this case, a lot of things have been working against the vice president long before now. And then you have also the Amici factor. Amici also wielded his own influence as a minister. But vice president should have the right of first refusal in this kind of thing.
In this
instance.
Maybe in the US.
In the US, the president is the head of the party, and the vice president has the right of first refusal in a contest. That is, even the party will recognize that the vice president will be the #1 contender for succeeding the outgoing president. It is the normal thing, but it's not statutory. It is not a law or any act. It's just a tradition. It's just the practice. In the United States, that's the way they practice it. And it's been working well for them. If the vice president does not win, that's no problem.
Now, some people believe that the vice president intended to ride on Buhari's, the president's back.
Yes.
And some permutations were made that he was likely to be the choice of Mr. President.
Yes.
But unfortunately, a news came out about 2 days ago, the day of arrival of delegates, but from the national chairman of APC, that the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, was the consensus candidate.
Of course.
And he said he had interacted with the president before informing, but it was resisted by the governors.
Well, somebody called for the resignation of the party chairman because of that. He shouldn't have come out to blatantly and pointedly mention any name. When he is the chairman, he should be for everybody. He should be neutral, actually, and let whatever horse trading is going on behind the scene be carried out. So these things have been working against the vice president all along. Like I said, it has been working against him, and he himself not having the political structure on the ground enough to help him. We see what happened. Even people from his own home state, Ogun State, Did they all vote for him to get 235? How many delegates did they have from Ogun State?
It was about 20 or so.
About 20. So you see, and then how many delegates from all the states that he visited where they were assuring him? How many delegates from Kaduna State where even the governor expressed support for him? How many delegates from Kaduna voted for him? Again, this is where the law needs to be revised and reviewed or reworked, so that all this money will not be openly and blatantly practiced and make it influence this kind of vote. We need a change in Nigeria.
Tinubu has been described as a master of politics.
Yes.
Since he won election into the Senate in the aborted Third Republic.
Of course.
His name has always been there.
He was a financier of pro-democracy organization on the ground in Nigeria.
He was also said to have played some roles in the election that brought in former President Jacob Zuma of South Africa,
yeah.
And Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana.
And also of Senegal. You remember it was his private jet that flew the Sall, I think his name is Sall, of Senegal. So he has influenced election in other countries.
Now, we know that is not the case. Assuming he had lost, what do you think would have been the implication if you look at his clout, not only within Nigeria?
Assuming he had lost, it would have been, of course, journalists and writers and commentators will have been saying that it was because of his age and because of his health. You know, those are the two things that...
and what do you think would have been the implication of that on APC, the political terrain?
Oh, well, those who now voted for him would have come out and criticized him, and they would have been hailing the winner if it wasn't him.
Okay, let's look at
Two-Face. Yes.
Okay, let's look at Amechi, Minister of Transportation. He came second, though distance second, 2016.
Yeah.
Were you surprised?
No, not surprised, because Amechi himself had established a political structure, and his position as Minister of Transport helped him in the rail line that he laid from Lagos to the north, influenced a lot of things, made a lot of northerners happy because it made their life easier. At least they could travel better, except for the attack on the train that happened 3 months ago. But he has a political structure in place, and he has the war chest, the money to influence. Remember, I said it was reported that he offered 15,000. while the vice president was offering 5,000. So
it went to the highest bidder.
Exactly. This primary went to the highest bidder, and the highest bidder was Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But beyond that, I'm not doubting that money has changed hands.
Yes.
You can see some delegates, even for instance, from Kano, who put on dresses that adorning Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Exactly. Some wore face caps.
So do you think those set of people, money could have changed?
It's possible.
Or even Osun delegates. You think money?
Even Osun delegates, even Anambra delegates. Was it Anambra or Enugu? When they arrived yesterday, two of them came out of their bus and they were on camera saying that all of them were for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the east. That was unexpected, because you wouldn't think that he had such influence in the east. But then this is for APC. We don't know from the other party. Okay,
let's look at Yahya Bello. He's the governor
of Kogi State.
Precisely governor of Kogi State. And Kogi is geographically part of northern Nigeria.
Not central.
Northern Nigeria.
We're north of the Niger, so northern Nigeria.
So when the northern governors met, 11 of them signed a communique.
Yeah.
He said he
wasn't
part of it.
Exactly.
He also made Mr. President, he maintained his position.
He maintained that position
now,
all the way.
Now he's criticizing the process. He's saying the emergence of Abraham is crook. I don't know, what do you think he could mean by that?
Well, he is criticizing the process.
What he could mean by that?
Based on his position, and also trying to send a message to his supporters. And you remember he keeps on appealing to young people. So by remaining adamant in his position, he's sending a message to the young people for the future, looking 4 years ahead. I think that's what he's trying to do. Looking 4 years ahead. He knows that he has lost this one, but he will be harping on getting younger people involved, And you remember this, we will all be alive by the grace of God 4 years from now, and you remember that I said it.
Well, must he discredit the process because he lost?
Well, Amechi also criticized the process, that the election was rigged. The primary was rigged. Amechi said that.
Okay, so it was not the only one.
So it wasn't only Kogi, not only Yaya Bello.
But what do you mean with why would they have said so? We watch it on
because they lost.
or what we saw on TV is different from what happened.
Of course, what we saw on TV.
After all, we learned that Fortuno the lie.
Of course. The cameras will only see what's at Eagle Square. The cameras did not see what happened before the people arrived at Eagle Square, or what might have been going on behind the scene. Somebody at the hotel receiving something, sending an alert to a delegate. Who knows? We don't know. We're just speculating. So we hope that this process.
But it is normal in Nigeria. It has become the norm. Mm-hmm. When you lose an election, you attempt to discredit it.
It's not only in Nigeria. When Donald Trump lost to Joseph Biden, you remember what he did? He fought for over 1 year, trying to overturn that election. So it's not only Nigerian, it's a human being thing. Everybody will, except where they have parliamentary system. But in this presidential system that we're running, the loser will always complain. Somebody will go to court. I think maybe if this primary has that provision, Amechi and Yaya Bello might be going to, what's that called, tribunal. Who knows?
Okay, a top campaigner of the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Richard Akinola, has corroborated Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Of course.
But if you read through the message critically, it appears as if the man was speaking for himself.
Well, he may have been speaking for himself, but it's in the spirit of true sportsmanship, like the president appealed to them last night. So maybe in that regard, he made that speech and congratulated. And when you look at the TV, when Bola Tinubu was going up, the vice president was on the side and they greeted each other. You didn't hear what vice president said to him, but I'm sure he was congratulating him also, which is what a good person in the spirit of sportsmanship should do. And maybe he has talked to Akinola, what's the name?
Akinola.
Maybe they have spoken. Maybe they have spoken before.
Okay, now let's look at the acceptance speech of Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
I missed it. I didn't hear it.
Okay, he said we can build Nigeria as a nation.
Yeah.
And he also said he chose politics over accountancy.
Okay.
How do you interpret those?
Well, that we can rebuild Nigeria is what he said. To rebuild something is to admit that it has broken. It has fallen apart. And if it was broken, then who will you put behind it? Who will you put and say who are the architects of that brokenness? So we can rebuild Nigeria. That's what you will expect any winner to say. But for this winner to say we can rebuild Nigeria, then that means you are aware that Nigeria was breaking. Of course, we know that he did not have much cordial relationship with the administration, but he was looked at as the brain behind everything. He himself said it in Abeokuta that he was behind the winning of Mr. President coming into office. So He saying that we'll rebuild Nigeria, he was also pointing fingers to himself. Why couldn't you, or why wouldn't you have gone to the president when things were going apart? So you just stood back and watched things fall apart, rather than go use your influence, use your position, use your power to go. You could go to the president at any time. Just a phone call, Mr. President, I'm on my way, I need to see you. That's all. If Yaya Bello could go to the president like that, if Sanwo-Olu could go to the president during the NSAS protest, if other governors could just go to the president, so which means the president is accessible. And if Mr. Bola Tinubu had been seeing things going apart, falling apart, then did he fold his arm to watch the president fail? I don't know, but I'm saying that word rebuild now, which means you are admitting that it had broken. And why didn't you do something about the brokenness before now? This is what I would say to Mr. Tinubu.
Okay, let's look at the governor of Ondo State now.
Ondo State, yes.
Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu, in his congratulatory message to Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a flag bearer of the party, he said this, and I want to quote him: "We can build beyond the reinforced hope, there is brighter prospect for sustained victory."
That is a very smart and brilliant way of saying it. There is a brighter hope that we can do something without actually saying that it was bad. He implied it, but he is now looking forward, looking into the future to say that we can have a brighter future. I think it's a very brilliant speech. But to say that we can rebuild or we will rebuild is not forward-looking. To me, in my own interpretation.
In your own words, how would you describe the victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Well, it's to be expected because we know that he has been a prominent name, prominent face, prominent figure in politics, especially the APC, but generally in Nigerian politics, he has been a brilliant, prominent face. So all of these, even if we leave aside the money aspect, the fact that he's a recognized face, recognized name, recognized influence, recognized position, and all of that is enough to say that he will win this thing. And I sent a message to someone. I said the unthinkable is happening unexpected. Unexpectedly. Unacceptably is what I said. I said the unthinkable is happening unacceptably. I wrote to somebody who I know very well.
Okay, let's look at the immediate past Minister of Education, Uwa Joba, who was the first cabinet member to resign as a result of his interest in the presidency. Now, he boycotted today's primary, or he boycotted the primary because the primary was not just a day. And he said he did that as a result of alleged marginalization of Southeast.
Why did he waste his 100 million to go and pay for the form? He could have been saying that publicly before now without buying the form. But if you buy the form, then the protest boycotting this election, this primary, is a waste of his money, waste of wherever he got the money from, and also a waste of opportunity. Even if it was your vote, or rather your few delegates that cast their vote, at least you would have said you were a part of that process, challenging the winning or the victory of Ahmed Tinubu. But for him to boycott the whole thing, he wasted his opportunity. He was the first cabinet member of Buhari's cabinet to resign, that the president even mentioned his name and commended him that he resigned from his office. So he wasted his opportunity as a minister. He could have continued as a minister and enjoyed the remaining 1 year. But he bought the form, resigned from his ministerial position, and then the 100 million and whatever other millions that he has been spending above that 1 million, he wasted it. I'm sure he must have...
What do you think should be approach now of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to other the fellow aspirants?
Well, it should be magnanimous in victory. Is that the language? I think he said it or somebody said it. The president must have said it. So he should be magnanimous in victory and reach out to all the other aspirants, all of them, not just focus on battling Atiku, because he has been implying that for the past 1 week, that since Atiku became the flag bearer of PDP. So he should focus his attention on the other aspirants, because they are the ones who will be the foot soldiers to now rally everybody around him to win against Atiku if he wants to win. But if he fails to do that, these aspirants who lost are likely to do something that will make him not to win the general election. My own opinion.
Or give him stress, even if it will win.
Give him a lot of stress. Yeah.
Apart from that, what else would you expect him to do?
Of course. Well, he should also immediately have a meeting with the president. That is the normal thing that they would do in a working, thriving democracy. The winner of a party will reach out to the president, who is a member of the same party that he is.
What about the national chairman of that party?
The same thing with the national chairman.
Who once said there was a consensus in Lawan?
Well, that is why some of the aspirants asked for his resignation. Because, like I said at the beginning of the show, he shouldn't be the one to be advocating for consensus. You are supposed to be a neutral observer. And also, you are the chairman of the party, and you should be the umpire and make sure that you reach out equally to all of the delegates. But it's only in Nigeria that we begin to talk about consensus. They had 16 aspirants in the Republican Party, and also in the Democrat they had that much as well before the last election. And they had debates here and there, debates and town hall meetings here and there, and one by one, all of them, some of them began to drop out until it was narrowed down to 2. And those 2 contested, and then those 2, one of them dropped out, and then it became Joseph Biden. So why couldn't we have done it like that? Have debates long time ago.
This is our own democracy.
Our own version of democracy.
Okay, now let's look at the likely effect of the victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Osun governorship election.
Well, what has been going on in Osun, whatever it is, whatever it was, and whatever way it's been interpreted or observed, is still going on. And you remember the headlines in the past few days or weeks. It's been saying that the primary election that was held recently has served to further split APC in Osun apart. I don't know how true that is, but that is what the headlines have been saying. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu winning is a boost to Governor Boyega Oyetola, because now it will feel like his own election has received a boost, which means he will be expecting that the delegates who went to vote in Abuja will be voting for him also. And I wish him all the best and wish him well. And let's see, may the best man win, is what somebody said in Oshuna.
Okay.
But who is the best man on the other side?
The people will decide.
The people will decide, exactly.
We must not talk about this.
Yes.
The relationship between Bola Ahmed Tinubu
and
Rauf Aregbesola.
Well, that is an internal thing, but internal thing became public thing. So how they will resolve it, only between them, both of them know. But we know from reports that we received several months ago was that delegates or delegation from Osun, not of the government, but those who are in power, went to Ahmed Tinubu and urged him to resolve this thing with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with Rauf Aregbesola. And we were told, whether true or not, but we were told that Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, no, I am not calling Rauf. I will not call Rauf. What else do you expect?
Okay, maybe we'll leave that for another day.
Let's leave that.
Let's leave for another day. We just hope that the differences, if there are any.
And if you remember, a profile was put on of all of the leading candidates last week.
Okay.
Either the party itself, the chairman, but they put a profile of all these leading candidates. And one of the things that was their good points and their negative points. And in the negative point, it was said, one line was said about Bola Ahmed Tinubu that he was vindictive. I wish I had saved that thing, but it was put online.
But do you see any human who doesn't have a weakness?
Everybody has a weakness. But being vindictive is a very, very strong, for the party chairman or whoever put that thing out.
Okay, maybe we'll also leave that for
let's leave that for now.
Now, yes, let's look at this family once again. A winner had emerged.
Yeah.
Just when Atiku Abubakar emerged immediately after, the flag bearer of PDP, who was congratulated by Ahmed Bola Tinubu.
Yes.
And just a few minutes ago, Atiku Abubakar has equally congratulated Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
They're good friends.
And let me quote him.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your emergence as your party's presidential candidate. It has been a hard-fought contest, but that you prevail confirms your tenacity. Atiku Abubakar.
Atiku Abubakar is more generous in his congratulatory message than Bola Ahmed Tinubu's message to Atiku. Bola Ahmed Tinubu said he was looking forward to him, to contesting with him. He was looking forward to the fight, that he will be I forgot how he said it, but Atiku Abubakar is more generous in this case. So that's the way we will see it, and we will also make sure that we'll see what happens in the next few days, in the next few hours, and then next few days. How Atiku Abubakar will continue, or how Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu will respond to all of these things. We will see how it plays out. And I'm glad I'm in Nigeria at this time. That's what I said earlier today. I am glad I'm in Nigeria at this very hour, that I'm not reading what's going on in Nigeria. I'm witnessing it myself. So that's very good.
That is how far time will permit us on today's edition of this program in the newsroom. I don't know what happened. We didn't see other members of the team, and I'm not sure messages were sent.
I'm sure they didn't play what the other guy played. They didn't boycott the newsroom.
No, journalists cannot boycott the newsroom.
No.
Journalists don't go on strike.
No.
So you can't boycott the newsroom.
But being journalists also, who knows, they are involved with their own news organization and couldn't make it.
Okay. So let me thank Mr. Adewale Adeomi for being part of the program.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
We appreciate your contribution.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
And in this room, we'll be back tomorrow. My name is Abiodun Ladele. Bye-bye.
Mondays to Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom.